which is the best version of the Bible to read. Well, actually, which one you need might be different to somebody else. Today, I'm going to give you 3 top tips to help you understand which one you should be reading. Check it out right here, right now. Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Dan Beasley, and this channel is all about inspiring intentional discipleship, helping you go deeper in your faith and living it out in the world today. And a big part of living out our faith is to get into God's Word, to read it, to study it, to understand what's going on. But I find a lot of people are not understanding which version is best for them. Today, I'm going to give you 3 hugely important pieces of advice to how you find the best version of the Bible so you can really start to engage with God's Word on a new level. So the first thing that we should be looking at is the accuracy of the translation. This is hugely important, because if we haven't got a good and honest, accurate translation of the original manuscripts, we're going to be reading to what somebody thinks we should be reading. It's their thoughts. I always go with translations that are kind of done by a committee. These are experts in the original languages, and when there's disagreements, they're sitting around tables and they're arguing the toss on what this means and what that means, and coming to a consensus, an agreed consensus of what should be in our modern translations from the original manuscripts which we have. Accuracy is important. We need to be studying and reading God's Word, and it needs to be an accurate translation. Not what one person thinks it should be, or kind of their theology might also come into play, and it might squiff what we are reading, and that is not a good thing. I've done a video about the accuracy of the Bible. Check that out here, and then come back and see what the other 2 pieces of advice are. The second tip is readability, because if we're not being able to read the Bible in a flowing way and being able to understand what's being said, it's going to kind of put us off wanting to read the Bible or study the Bible if we just don't get it. I read the ESV, which is a more word-for-word literal translation. I didn't start out with this. I've gone on to this over the past couple of years. I was reading an NIV, which is because the church I joined was using the NIV, and I didn't know really of any other translations around. Sometimes we just inherit a translation from our church or from somebody who might have given us a Bible or bought a Bible, and it doesn't necessarily mean that's the right version. Check out this graphic here. This graphic shows that there's more paraphrased versions up to the more word-to-word and the absolute literal translation of Bibles, and anywhere in between it could be the right one for you. Again, remember that first tip, that it has to be accurate and honest to the original translations. Now, like I said, I didn't start off on the ESV, and if I did, I probably wouldn't read the Bible as much as I do now. I actually use different Bibles in different circumstances. The ESV is a more true translation, but I also use the NLT, which is a more paraphrased translation, and sometimes that's just because I want to sit down and it's an easy read, and it reads really well, and it reads in a different way. And when I want to get into studying it a bit more, I go back to the ESV. This is one that I always have with me, and this is the version, but I will use other versions as well. So readability is a huge thing. So the best thing to do here, my advice to you, is to go to a good Christian bookshop that's got lots of different versions of the Bible, and go and pick up different versions and read through them and see how you get on, because this is a really individual thing for you and where you are with how you like to read things. And then speak to the person there working there to ask them, is this a true, honest, reliable translation of the Bible? Is this something that I can read knowing that I'm getting what the original manuscripts are saying? Hugely important. Readability is one of the key ones. Don't just assume because you got bought a Bible or given a Bible it's the right one for you. Get down to your local shop and have a good read and find the one that really connects with you. And the third tip, and this one might not seem as relevant, but it actually hugely is context. And what I mean by context is, where are you reading the Bible, or how do you carry a Bible, or what do you do? So here are my 3 ESV Bibles that I use. This one I keep in my bag because it's small and I can carry it around, and I keep it in its case because it's a lovely leather one, but it's less weight to carry it around, and I can just pull it out. And I bought this a few weeks ago because I was carrying this one around in my bag, which is heavier and bigger. This one is a reader's edition, so it doesn't have verses in. It's got chapters, but I like to read it as it kind of was written out. But because of my job as a vicar, this isn't a good one to be speaking to people with in that sense. This one's got chapter and verses. In fact, I have another one in my bag, an NLT, because it's a lot easier for some people who really don't know the Bible to speak to them about that without some of the language, which would be a bit of a barrier. But that's an aside, because this is about personal. When I'm going around, I always will have a small one in my bag. It's a lot easier and lighter to carry. This one I keep at home, and this one's by my bed, so I can read it at night. And it's the version that I like to read. Then I've got this one, which was a present of a very good friend who bought it for my ordination when I got ordained in the Church of England, and it's a study Bible. So we've got the text, and we've got what's going on and the explanation of what's going on, and things like maps and stuff like that. This is why I say context is key, because you're not going to carry that around in your bag, and I would only use this when I want to study and understand a few things more. Carrying that around my bag is a lot easier. And again, context also includes what you like to read when it's written. So I, like I said, don't like the chapters and verses, so I can just flow through what's being written without all the headings and things in there. So actually, context, as it always is when you're studying the Bible, is key. Where are you using it? How are you using it? Because you can't just have one Bible that you keep at home, because what do you do when you go out or when you go away? You need to think about how big it is, or what you're going to do, or when you're going to use it, and what you're using it for. So whatever version you end up with, get different sizes, portability, or ones that you want to go a bit further and deeper into the text itself. So which is the best Bible translation for you? Well, the one that is better for you might not be for me, and hopefully you can take those 3 tips of accuracy, readability and context, and find which is the best one for you. I hope that you do find the best one for you and you really get into God's Word. But what other things do you use to find out which is the best Bible versions for you that could help other people? Put your tips in the comments below, because we really want to get as many people to read and engage with God's Word as possible. Like this video so more people can see it. Subscribe to the channel for more great content, and I will see you soon. Bye.